Sir, in a press release, you have stated that originally Veerappan planned to kidnap Rajinikanth. So, is it true or not? They're asking.
Yeah, see, the point is after, like we all know, Veerappan was very publicity hungry and he always wanted to be on the newspapers and make headlines. So, when he kidnapped Rajkumar sir from Kannada Superstar, after that, that gave him a national level publicity. In fact, he came even on BBC. So, the first time he realized that he will make more name, the bigger names he tries to capture. So he had this idea in the beginning of 2004. I mean, he was killed in October 2004. In the beginning of 2004, he just had this plan of kidnapping Rajini sir. In terms of, because the only thing he can do bigger than kidnapping Rajkumar, obviously, because Rajini sir is a far bigger star. Yeah.
How?
See, just now I was telling you there, it is a question not of evidence, it is a question of the sources. I spoke to the people who were involved in the operations, people who worked with him, people who infiltrated into Veerappan's gang to make him believe to come out of the forest in that ambulance, and finally when they got him on the Penagram road. So it is my interaction with all those people where I'm getting this from. It's not like a recorded evidence. I can't give a recorded evidence because there's a conversation happened between the people involved in the operation.
But the truth is, Veerappan was never after his publicity or for money. He was never after publicity, as you say.
How do you say that?
Then how do you say that he was after?
But that's exactly the point. You see, truth is in...
The way you have gathered information, the same we have also gathered, and we have gone through newspapers and all magazines.
Like my question is, I don't want to confront on this, but my question is, who did you speak to? Can you just tell me? I mean, eventually, whether it's you or me or any of us, we only can speak to sources. Because no one can know it directly from Veerappan, no one can know it directly from who can have an authenticated document saying that this is. Eventually, truth is what you believe in. My sources would be different from your sources.
Yeah, there had been a journalist who had met Veerappan in person many times, and he has clearly explained in his earlier write-up also, stating that he was never after publicity or money.
Yeah, so but that's my, my source tells me differently. Then it's up to you to, whoever to believe what they want to believe.
Mr. Varma,
yeah.
There have been a lot of movies already made at the same premise. You said it's a question of interpretation. So how have you pursued and consumed it to interpret it differently?
See, the interpretation is the wrong word. I would say it is like, when you're trying to find out about a person, it's a question of your sensibility, it's a question of who you're speaking to, it's a question of the capacity of your understanding, it's also a question of who wants to believe what, So all these factors will take into consideration. Either there's a documented evidence where somebody signs, there's an investigation, there is something which has been vetted by arguments and all that so that it can properly be placed. If not for that, it is only about the sources you are talking to. Where you get the truth from. So if someone, 5 people you ask about me, I'm a living person. If one person can say this, one person can say that, everyone will have a different version of a vision of a person. See, let me tell you, there are 39 films made on Adolf Hitler so far in world history, and none of them have any connection with each other. But all of them could be connected only on the basis of each person's research, what it comes to, and eventually what an individual would like to believe or would want to be, to be affected, completely depends upon the believability of the story when you see it in a sequence. Yeah, unless you see the film, I don't think this question I can answer.
Have you highlighted the tortures made by the women in the forest and the police tortured the women? Also the politicians involved. Have you shown everything or are you hidden? Or
you see, I try to represent the truth as much as I know it. Yes, definitely I showed the, in the very beginning days when the police in their eagerness to get information about Veerappan, they had a certain high-handed behavior, and which has been shown in the film. And obviously any person becomes something because of a series of circumstances and incidents and decisions made by people which could be found out as faulty in hindsight. But at the same time they took a decision, they might have been felt right. But that is precisely what I'm trying to say. It puts Veerappan in perspective, this film. After that, you see, You can't see anything in the film which will be going against a fact which is being documented by the police, documented by the courts. Otherwise, everything else is a conspiracy theory. Anyone has a choice to believe what they want to believe. For example, a lot of people think there are politicians who kind of backed Veerappan, which I don't believe, which I don't think so. Okay, because from my understanding and my knowledge, but that somebody can dispute that depending on what they would like to believe.
So you have been registering your views in the Twitter. So is it made for a publicity or it's a fact?
But like which views?
Which views? In the vision, sir? Generally, many of your tweets.
See, I'm a filmmaker. If anything, I want to put it on a Twitter or an interview or even this press conference for that matter, or even if I make a film, that's obviously for publicity. Why would I do it? And publicity is nothing but trying to draw attention to the cause of what I'm trying to do at that time. See, to start with, when you're making a film on a kind of a person who's registered as a criminal and who's been dead for some time, legally you don't need a permission to make an interpretation of a film on a famous or infamous person. Unless I misrepresent the family members, which is not the case, which I've done here, so I don't need a permission.
Veerappan himself killed his own daughter. Yeah. Is it true, they're asking?
Yeah, that is a recorded thing. That's, in fact, even I spoke to his wife also about it. That's a recorded...
Actually, you have made this film and what the police post, rescue force said. Should it be true or correct?
That is not true. In fact, if you remember, I mentioned... No. I think but let me answer. Let me answer. I just told you.
One second. Solid.
I had 5 sources. I said there are people who interacted and worked with Veerappan at a certain point of time. There are those sources. There are mediators who kind of did in the Rajkumar episode and some other episodes when they tried to become intermediaries. That is one source. Then there is, of course, Muthulakshmi, his own wife. Then there are people who are not directly connected. I mean, they're not directly involved in the operation, but they kind of worked in the areas, in Veerappan's long tenure. Then there is directly the officers who are involved in the actual operation which brought him down. So there are 5 different sources I am talking about, apart from historians, whoever has recorded over a period of time. This is not from one source, whatever.
People who was supported by the police force for supporting Veerappan.
Yeah. Yes, sir, yes, of course. I mean, in fact, that is there in the film also. You see, first of all, to generalize them as they, I think is wrong, because there are people who suffered, there are people who has given them money to, there are people who supplied information to him, there are others who are kind of neutral, there are some people who could betray Veerappan, there are some people who can betray the police. All kinds of people were there. So I don't think you can generalize them as saying they. See, again, like I said, this is something which is the truest to what I could gather, because no one can claim a real life story as absolute truth unless it is documented and it is endorsed by a certain committee put by an authorized body. Otherwise, it will always remain as truth as I know it. In fact, I put it as a disclaimer in the film. This is the truth as I know it. I'm not claiming it's the truth.
Actually, Veerappan was made to become a criminal because of the Kannada police who tortured Tamil women on that area. And you told this in this film.
See, that's exactly what I'm saying. Though, whatever, a lot of people have dissatisfaction towards the system for a lot of things, But that doesn't mean they will take law into their hands and do extreme things like murder and going against the establishment. That is what I'm trying to say. Of course, the reason is shown in the film. The reason is, of course, is there. Yeah, it is there. Yeah.
Mr. Gopal has been sent as a government.
See, the point is, the bulk of this film, it only tracks the last 2 years of Veerappan's life. And whatever we want to know about Veerappan, we get into the flashback mode or narrative aspect, So even Rajkumar's kidnapping is not there, for example, because that happened 3-4 years before Veerappan's downfall, So many of these key characters, they come in a montage aspect, but not as principal parts, because that is not what the film is about. So I think what he's saying is the people there consider him a hero. That's what you're talking about? Yeah. See, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. That also, it is true and untrue, because true it is to the part of people who benefited from him in various ways and believe that he has done something beneficial. There are also people there who believe because of him the development stopped there and investors stopped coming, and it kind of affected them in some way. So there are both kinds of people. Like in any group, always there will be people who believe and the people who will be disbelieving.
There is a two versions of killing the Veerappan. One is been shot and another one is an encounter. In this film, what you have showed?
See, I'll ask you a technical question. I really don't know. See, I showed what I believe to be the truth that you will see in the film. But one fundamental question I don't really understand. Anyway, the police's intention was to kill him. So the question of whether kill him in an encounter or the way it finally came out the way it was published, I don't think there's a fundamental difference there. See, my sources were many. Like I said, I mean, in fact, in the beginning disclaimer, I put that I can't disclose many of the names because they don't want to be identified, one. And my source also was a wife. My source was at least 5 to 6 officers who were involved in the operations. And the people who kind of, in the Rajkumar time, who went to meet him to negotiate with the ransom and all that, there were people like that.
இவரோட மேஜர் சோர்ஸ் வந்து பிரியா போலீஸ் இன்ஃபார்மர். அவங்க சமீபத்துல ஒரு பேட்டியில வர்மா என்னை ஏமாத்திட்டாங்க, எனக்கு நிறைய வந்து ஏமாத்திட்டாங்க பேட்டி கொடுத்தாங்க வீடியோ.
யாரு பேரு?
போலீஸ் இன்ஃபார்மர்.
Police informer. So there is a police informer who has given an interview that you have collected many information from him and you have betrayed him. Is it true?
Betrayed him? He, like whom?
Her.
How do I betray her? See, she is one of the many people my research team spoke. I mean, I think they have spoken to more than 100 people, at least, you know, out of which she could be one. And the point is, what eventually came and what was recorded has got nothing to do with what most of the people said, because everyone says it for their benefit and to put them forward together. So it's our job as filmmakers to get the truth out of the things whatever is being told.